The federal workforce is reeling from massive cuts to government agencies, and this is having a real-life human impact. Among those impacted are, of course, the nation's veterans. The Trump administration says the goal is to terminate about 80,000 employees from the VA department. Last night, Democratic Senator Tim Kaine held a town hall in Virginia for veterans concerned over what these firings mean for them.
I must say that my experience with the VA, I'm a disabled veteran, obviously, has been fantastic. Yes, getting in is hard. Some of the wait times are not good. But I had nothing but great things at the DC VA I go to. I have a primary care doctor. I love the doctor. I love all of the clinicians. I'll be very upset if I lose these clinical people.
If you tell veterans we're going to fire up to another 80,000 people who work for the VA, you're telling them that it's already hard to get care. Now it's going to be much harder.
So you have the concern about cuts at the VA, and then, what about those veterans who work for the federal government who are impacted by these government cuts? I want to go now to Terry Uniter, who is an Army veteran dealing with the fallout of these government cuts firsthand. He is now in limbo, essentially, with his family. So, Terry, thank you for coming on. So walk us through what has happened to you. You were all set to do this job in Japan. You sent over all your belongings, and then what happened?
So thank you for having me on your show. So I'm third generation Army. I retired and I was working as a contractor. And I thought that this international relations job in Japan was important enough that I was willing to take a $60,000 pay cut to go over there. I verified 3 times with United States Forces Japan and the hiring people, OPM, hey, am I good to proceed to station? And I was told, hey, you're good to go. And then at the last moment, 24 hours before flying to Japan, they told me, hey, that exemption that we thought that you had, it's not good. And to make it worse, 12 hours before flying, they contacted me again to say, well, actually, we had our wires crossed. You're good to proceed. And then 5 hours before flying, they were like, hey, remember what we just told you like a few hours ago? We're sorry. Actually, you're still not good to come.
What?
Yeah, so like all my stuff is on a boat right now going to Japan. I was fortunate enough to get my car back. It was about to be loaded on the boat at the vehicle processing center, but I was like, hey, I don't know when I'm going over to Japan. Can I please have it back?
You sent all your stuff over, you got your car back, but you also have a son who you pulled out of school, right?
I pulled him out of school. I put my home up for sale, not for sale, for rent. So we're basically sleeping on the floor right now.
Living out of a suitcase.
Yes, but in the midst of all of this, I will say the command in Japan has done everything, from the commander all the way on down. Lieutenant General Jost has been advocating with the Pentagon for me personally to try to get me an exemption to the hiring freeze, and which it just did come through. But in lieu of everything else going on, I do not think I'll be accepting the position.
So finally, that exemption that you were supposed to have, you said it just came through after you've been sleeping on the floor in limbo, but you're not going to take the job.
So in the midst of all of this, there's one person that I've been very, extremely disappointed with, and that's my congressman, Andy Harris. I called up his office, and he told me, what do you want me to do about it? It's too early for me to intervene.
He told you that directly, or his staff?
His staff did, but there's protests going in Maryland because evidently everybody's getting the same answer from his office. Hey, I was told, what can we do for you? There's nothing we can do. I'm like, you're my elected official, you can advocate on my behalf. And they're like, well, it's too early. I'm like, how is it too early? I just resigned from my job. All my stuff is going over to Tokyo right now. At what point is it not too early?
Yeah.
So if he's not willing to do his job, then I will.
So you're saying you tried, you went to your representative, not get anywhere. This exemption just came through. You don't want to take the job. Now you just have to wait to see if your belongings come back from Japan.
Yes.
And
as DOGE continues its efforts to overhaul the federal government, the VA now says it will lay off more than 80,000 workers in a major agency-wide reorganization that is set for August. Joining us now, founder and CEO of Independent Veterans of America and host of the Independent Americans podcast, Paul Rieckhoff. I want to talk about NATO, but let's talk about veterans first. This is a president who campaigned on protecting, cherishing, valuing veterans. There's been no such consideration given to veterans within the federal government.
That's exactly right. They're saying one thing and doing another. And you ask me how I'm doing, I'm pissed off. and veterans around this country are pissed off, and Americans around this country are pissed off, because it's like every day we're getting another body blow to the soul of America. And here we have not even a public announcement, but a leaked memo that the new VA secretary, who's a pretty radical guy, is now going to lay off 83,000 people at the VA. 25% of them are veterans. Meanwhile, as you cut into the federal government, 1/3 of all of those cuts are veterans. We got the unemployment rate down in the beginning of the year to just over 4%, historic low. We've been fighting for 20 years to get the veterans' unemployment rate down. This is going to blow it up. And that's the actual effect of what they are doing will have. No matter what they say, watch what they're doing. And right now, the flamethrower that is Doge and Elon Musk is coming straight for the VA.
Is there blowback